you are truly ignorant and you support something, as I did, back when I was a Zionist hitting the ground, talking about Israel, tweeting about Israel and how we must support Israel, then that's okay. That's going to be acceptable because one day we're all going to have to account before our Creator. I have to hope that that is going to be acceptable, that it was truly ignorance and I believed that I was doing the right thing.
Candace Owens is having a 180 from her being a Zionist, for her speaking against the Zionists and the Israel people. Anyway, guys, let's get into it. Hey, beautiful people, how you all doing today? It's your girl Destiny here, and welcome to my channel. How have you all been? Hope you guys are doing great. So today's video, I want to talk about Candace Owens and how all of a sudden Candace Owens is speaking against the Donald Trump administration, which she was loudly supporting, and how now she's speaking against Israel, the country Israel, even back in why she used to be a huge supporter of Israel. So if you don't know Candace Owens, what she stands for, please go with your friend, you will get it. So now Candace Owens now is out here on the internet speaking against the Israel people and the country Israel and Donald Trump administration, talking about how Donald Trump is not suitable to be a president, and how the Israel people have lied, and how the American government have always caused trouble in the Middle East, how the American government have always tried to be in the Middle East, and the whole propaganda of how Israel came to be and all that. Even though in the past she was one of the biggest supporter of this, she's coming out to let us know that yes, she was misinformed. Now she is educating herself and now she knows better and she's going to speak for it. And this also has struck a lot of conversation on people going on Candace going 180. People are like, really, Candace? You used to be so loud about this and now you are totally against it. You're on the other side. This has gotten a lot of reaction on this. So we're going to play a couple of clips of Candace Owens talking about Israel and United States and the Donald Trump administration, and also people's reaction to this. And if you guys want me to do more clips on Candace Owens going back on her words, please you guys let me know down in the comment section and I'll do that. But yeah, let's go check out this video and then we'll come back and talk more.
By the way, if we're taking a look at him, he had been extremely vocal in the past for years, by the way, before he even ran for president, about the disaster of our foreign policy in the Middle East. He specifically called out Barack Obama back in 2011 for what he deemed to be an unnecessarily looming conflict with, well, you guessed it, Iran. Take a listen.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective. So the only way he figures that he's going to get reelected, and as sure as you're sitting there, is to start a war with Iran.
Okay, and he kept up that 4 years later, that same rhetoric during the 2015 Republican presidential election debate.
In Iraq was a big, fat mistake, all right? Obviously, it was a mistake. So George Bush made a mistake. We can make mistakes, but that one was a beauty. We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East. But I want to tell you, they lied. Okay. They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were none, and they knew there were none. There were no weapons of mass destruction.
And I'm not kidding when I say that this was 8 weeks ago, you guys. Take a listen.
The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003. The IC continues to monitor closely if Tehran decides to reauthorize its nuclear weapons program.
And Trump has this to say about Tulsi Gabbard, who is his director of national intelligence. You can just dismiss what she says, according to Trump. Take a listen.
Mr. President, you've always said that you don't believe Iran should be able to have a nuclear weapon, but how close do you personally think that they were to getting one? Because Tulsi Gabbard testified in March that the intelligence community said Iran wasn't building a.
I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having.
What is that, guys? You don't care what your director of national intelligence is telling you? You don't care? Because Bibi Netanyahu, called you up and said, yeah, we need a pretext for, like we always need a pretext for, we're constantly and people all the time. We're committing a Holocaust in Gaza. Could you just go out there and tell them they had they were building a nuclear? They weren't. And there's been no evidence of that outside of Bibi Netanyahu's trust me, bro, because I guess you have to come up with something to make people hysterical to believe that we have this never-ending right to human beings. That's what it is. It's a carte blanche that has been handed to Israel to continually human beings in the Middle East, to use American soldiers to effect regime changes in the Middle East at the benefit of no one but Israel. Okay? I mean, the Bella Hadid story is stunning. These people came on ships holding up signs about World War II saying, please, we're refugees, let us into your home. And the Palestinians opened their doors to them. This is the story of Muhammad Hadid and Bella Hadid, the model, Gigi Hadid. He was an infant. His mother had just given birth. They allowed these refugees, these Polish refugees, to live in their homes as refugees because they wanted to help them following a world war. And then one day they came back to their houses and the doors were locked. They came home, the doors were locked, and they were being held, and they were told, leave right now or some soldiers are going to come you. Do you guys understand? Just go through that in your head. Wherever it is that you live right now in the world, imagine your family has lived on that land for hundreds and hundreds of years. That this has been your home for hundreds of years. And then you say, oh, you know what? The Ukrainian war is happening right now. I feel really bad. I'm going to allow a Ukrainian to live in my house, maybe here in Tennessee, live in my house. And you allow them and you share with them. And you do this out of the kindness of your heart, right? Because you are being taken over, perhaps by the Spirit of Christ and charity. And one day you come back to your house and the doors are locked and those refugees that you let in are telling you that if you try to open that door, you are going to. That is how the land was given to them. That is a fact. No one can dispute that. There was no money. There was no trade. There was no conversation. They were effectively hijacked in their own homes. So the entire story of Israel has been immoral, okay? And it has really hinged upon our ignorance. We have all been ignorant, and it's time to stop. Because once you know the truth, now it is your burden to carry, okay? If you are truly ignorant and you support something, as I did, back when I was a Zionist, hitting the ground, talking about Israel, tweeting about Israel and how we must support Israel, then that's okay. That's going to be acceptable because one day we're all going to have to account before our Creator. I have to hope that that is going to be acceptable, that it was truly ignorance and I believed that I was doing the right thing. But you now know this is not the right thing. And if you keep doing that, thing out of fear, all right, out of, I don't know, a jerk knee reaction because you're scared of being canceled. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be you when you meet your maker. I wouldn't want to be you when you have to stand before the Lord and account for what you allowed to take place because those children are dying. They are being burned to death. They had been carpet bombed. The access to those images, it's at your fingertips.
One thing I'm going to always do is admit when I was wrong. Everything Candace Owens said about Israel, Bibi Netanyahu, and the United States and AIPAC is absolutely 100% undisputable truth. Had I not did my extensive research and went back and watched countless of film and news articles and everything, I realized then, Candace Owens was right. But now check this out.
Trump, by the way, if we're taking a look at him, he had been extremely vocal in the past for years, by the way, before he even ran for president, about the disaster of our foreign policy.
What the hell is going on with our president? Is it safe to say that our president may have been compromised, or is he afraid of the deep state? You got to give me some logical explaining for this.
So Candace Owens is calling out the hypocrisy of Donald Trump. And I have no problem with that. I think she should. But what was funny in the clip, she asked, does Donald Trump think that we're stupid? If I'm not mistaken, this is the same man that said he loves the uneducated. So yes, I think Donald Trump thinks that the American people are dumb. Like, what kind of question was that? Like, are some of y'all so mad that y'all really mad that y'all were MAGA this and MAGA that and Donald Trump this and Donald Trump that? And for him not to be, for him to be a flip-flopper and not stand 10 toes down on a lot of things? I mean, what do y'all want? Like, I mean, what did you expect? Y'all be riding for a man like, he's God's second coming or something. Like he's a prophet or all this. It's like, no. So, yeah, Donald Trump thinks the American people are stupid.
So Candace Owens is going off again about Donald Trump in her most recent post. She's calling him a hypocrite. She's basically, in so many words, calling him a liar, saying that he wanted peace in Iran, and then he started tweeting out that we have planes in the sky over Iran. She said, she kept going back to, he keeps saying we. Now, if he wanted peace, then why would he be saying we? And then she goes on to say, oh, that's just great. Now America has its big, beautiful Air Force planes in the sky over Iran. Aren't we all proud of America to be flying over the skies of Iran? What a hypocrite. What a hypocrite. What does she want us to do? Candace, have you heard what the Iranians have been saying, what they want to do to Americans for over 30 years? Maybe even 40, since I was a young child. They don't want us around anymore. They don't want us around anymore. They would love to take over our land. And by the way, we have to protect ourselves. The bottom line. So if that means at least putting planes in the sky so that we can take out missiles if they shoot them off at any country they feel like shooting them off at, then we will. Why don't you go back to Blake Lively? Yeah, and Ryan Reynolds. That seems to be your thing now.
One individual who I genuinely feel worse for than the Ayatollah right now is Candace Owens. Damn. This news must be nothing short of tragic for her, because as far as she's concerned, her supposed main funder, her main source of revenue outside of YouTube, of course, and maybe her paid channels and things of that nature, this was where she was getting most of her sponsorships, allegedly. I mean, what other conclusion would somebody like myself draw when we saw her just a few years back in defense of Israel, working for two Jewish companies, not just one, but two Jewish-owned companies, collecting checks from these individuals? Somebody who believed that Palestine was not actually considered its own state. A few years later, and she is the most anti-Israel voice I have heard in a long time. And I listen to all sorts of individuals and their perspectives. I'm talking about the furthest left of left, and I have never heard anything like what has come out of this young lady's mouth. So yeah, I just want to send my, my condolences. Is that what that would be?
Let me know down your own take on Candace Owens, how having like a 360, like 180 turn around on who she supported, the Donald Trump administration and even Israel. Go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think. But please, as always, be respectful. You're on this channel. We're allowed to disagree. We're just here to have conversation. Okay, just be respectful. Okay, we're not here to tussle. Anyway, here's my own thought on this. For me personally, like, I'm one of those people that if I'm wrong, I can admit I'm wrong. And as much as I'm not a big fan of Candace, I know that I respect her. I respect ethics. I respect the way she worked and her being upfront and admitting that she was wrong and not educated and running with propaganda all these years, where she was a Zionist and supporting Israel and even supporting the Donald Trump. There's a lot of clips on her, literally like renouncing the MAGA thing and all that. And for me, I do admire her because it takes a lot for someone to be loudly wrong and come out and accept that they were loudly wrong. And I personally, like, I used to be I wasn't in support of Israel, but growing up, and I feel like this is the propaganda that has been pushed on for a long time. And this is why I always encourage people to do their research, get themselves informed, and so that they can make better decisions logically with the facts, not the propaganda. We also just saw what just happened last week, where Netanyahu strike Iran, saying Iran has nuclear weapons and all that. But comes to find out that really there was really nothing. Like, if you go back and really dig in, you find out that Iran did not even, the nuclear weapon sites they have in Iran is being supervised by the Western world. So Netanyahu just unprovokedly did what they did and America decided to support them. Thank God for the internet. We're getting all this in real time. But back then, growing up, what I was taught growing up was that first the God of Israel is the one and mighty God. So anytime I heard the country Israel, automatically associated with God. And when I heard the fight in the Middle East, then I was a child, I was a young girl in the Middle East. I was just like, why don't they just leave Israel? God of Israel is going to kill all these people. Now realizing the true story of the Palestine and the Israel people and how the Jewish people from the German Holocaust landed in Palestine and how the Palestinian people were kicked out of their homes and all that just really gave me a different point of view. I remember when I first started digging into it, and I remember I was like, no, Israel, and someone was like, girl, do your research. And I decided to take upon myself and did a lot of research. And that's really like, it was an eye-opening for me to realize that a lot of the things we've been fed with were just all propaganda. And that has really just really ticks to me on how a lot of propaganda has been fed to us as people that will believe certain things, including everywhere in the world, including you see like Nigeria, they'll say, oh, we're the biggest scammer. For me, yes, there's scammers everywhere, honestly. But Nigerians, we are the biggest, whatever. They'll say, oh, the African Americans are lazy, they don't want to work. They are all propaganda. But hearing Candace Owens coming out straight to really point out all these things. And you guys let me know if you guys want to see more clips, because there's a lot of clips of her coming against Donald Trump and Israel. And her even pointing out how Donald Trump is not challenged and how Donald Trump is like literally going back on his word, and the relationship between Israel and the United States, why the United States will always spend their taxpayer dollars just to protect and provide for Israel is still mind-blowing to me. Nobody will understand the dynamic of those two relationships. Like, honestly, like I said in the other video I did about the United States-Iran thing, I don't know. Like, I don't really know. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this video. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. Go on and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push up my content for more people to see, and that'll be supporting this channel and this girl here. So go on and do that. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.